Welcome to the Spooktacular.
Bats fly.
It's freaking bats. We are well and truly in the spooky season.
Yeah, we've got our pumpkins. Do they have names? Which one's yours?
I did both.
Oh.
I just held them still. So we've got our butterbeer water because Halloween, and what we doing?
The cauldrons.
The cauldrons.
Witch's brew.
I have nuked Tail of Frog.
Tail and babble, spoil and snubble. Whatever it is.
Go on, tell them.
So we're gonna tell some funny, creepy, spooky season stories.
It's a spooky spectacular. And we're gonna tell some spooky stories.
So don't watch this in the dark.
No, it's gonna be funny.
It's very
little bit creepy, but PG.
Yeah, you don't need to keep the light on tonight.
Right. So let's get spooky.
Cauldrons.
Okay, welcome to the Spooktacular. Let's just dive right in with some spooky stories.
Yeah, as per usual, we've asked our many fans.
We're gonna have some creepy stories, some stories about superstitions.
Yeah.
We're just gonna talk about some spooky things, basically.
Weird people.
Yeah. Shall we start
Can I
it off?
just say?
Yeah.
It smells like mince pies. It's making me hungry.
I know, it smells really yummy. I like it.
Ellie's got mince pie candle or something, or Christmas cake.
Right, shall we start with a story just to kick it off? So let's start with this one. This is one of mine. Okay, so this person says this is their family member. So let's get into the spirit of things.
I feel like we should have it in dark in here with just a torch.
Dun, dun, dun. So these people had a house in Norfolk, so we're thinking countryside. Mm-hmm. So the person in question went for a bike ride without his phone, and his bike broke. The pedal fell off.
This is my really bad roundup of this story. We had a voice note of this story. This is why. Mm-hmm. It was a granddad.
It's a granddad
who was a priest.
Vicar. So this is Grandad Vicar. He's gone on a bike ride around Norfolk. He hasn't taken his phone, and his bike pedal has fallen off. Dun, dun, dun. So he was really stressed, obviously. And then he's looking around. He's like, "Oh my god, how am I going to get home?"
Oh my god, it's like this is your story.
I know.
Good storyteller.
And then he turns around, and out of nowhere, a car appears.
Boom, boom, boom. No sound.
The car's just there behind him. So we know these details because we've been told the story.
It was a voice note. Now this is just retelling it.
Yeah. So he turns around and there's just a car has appeared, and this guy walks out of the car.
The only explanation I would have of this is if it's like one of those silent cars that are like a Prius. Is that what they're called?
That should have ruined the spookiness. It's a Tesla turns up in the Norfolk countryside roads.
I just feel like I need to know more. Like, what car was it?
Anyway, a car turns up.
Yeah.
And he gets out and he's like, "What's happened?" And he's like, Vicar's like, "Oh, my pedal's fallen off."
Look at it. If somebody stopped and started to talk to me on the side of the road, even if I did need help, I'd be really freaked out.
I'd hop away on my bike.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Let me help you. I've got some string." So he ties the Vicar's leg to the pedal.
This sounds made up.
It does, but apparently it happened. So there's no pedal on the bike. So they tie the Vicar's leg to where the pedal would be.
Just giving him a lift.
Oh yeah.
This explains why it's a ghost.
So that he's got his leg tied on so he can ride away. So
what if he needs to balance his leg down?
Well, it's not going to be an easy journey home. Anyway, so then he's tied his leg down, and then he turns around, the Vicar turns around to say, "Thank you, thanks so much for your string."
And bam.
And it's gone.
In a poof of smoke.
In a puff of smoke and no noise, the car has driven away and the person is not there. So
I feel like as well on country roads, you can see quite far away down the road.
Mm-hmm. And they never saw or heard a car leave. And to this day, Vicar, man, doesn't know who it was.
Thinks it's a guardian angel.
And thinks it's a guardian angel.
Maybe it was.
Maybe. I feel like there's more important times in your life that you need a guardian angel, though.
Maybe you just had a free moment. It was free. Thought, you know what? I'm just going to pop down in my Prius.
Give him some help.
Is that what it's
Prius.
Is that what it's called? Prius. Silent.
So, I think that's quite a nice little story.
A light-hearted
guardian angel.
I would like to think it was a guardian angel.
Yeah, coming to help our lovely grandpa.
But it's like in films, you know, when they like turn around like that and they're just gone.
It's like, he left with no trace.
Like Cinderella.
Oh my goodness, that's quite nice. But yeah,
it's a bit spooky. But...
Get us off on a nice note.
What do you believe that is a guardian angel?
Come on, guys, let us know. What do you think?
I was asking you.
Okay, well, me. Personally, I don't believe in any of this kind of stuff. And that's for my own sanity, though, because I do get freaked out and spooked out really easily.
I get spooked out really easily.
So I like to justify everything as saying that nothing exists.
I think I do believe things like this. I feel like I'm very I believe in there's a higher power. Not that I'm religious, but I do believe there's something else
out there.
Like...
So it's creepy or something like that.
I believe in things like the star signs, and I believe in like fortune tellers, and I believe in everything happens for a reason. I
believe in star signs and stuff like that, and the reason I believe in that is because I can justify that as science in a way. Because for example, like if the moon can physically move our oceans, what else can it do? It can physically make waves in our ocean from that far away. So,
but like, what has that got to do with our lives? Don't you think that's strange how it all coincides? Well, Darcy's recently made me download this app. Do you have it? It's called my phone's there. Something sign, some cosines.
I don't know.
And we were on it the other day, and we were like, so you get your moon sign, your earth sign, and your
rising sun.
Yeah, this, and I didn't know any of it. I like they're reading it, and it's exactly me. It's so weird.
Often it does work.
Only thinking it because
it's hard. That's the the age-old question.
Yeah, I do think it is me though.
Because there is some we've talked about this before, and technically me and Joe are the same, but me and Joe are very different people.
But then is that why me and Joe and me and you get on very well?
Possibly, could be.
Because then Megan's also a Leo.
So maybe you... What are you?
Libra.
So I'd be interested to know whether
we are
Libras and Leos are meant to be compatible. Interesting.
But then it's about things like your moon sign is different to you. Mine's like a Capricorn and a Libra or something, or Sagittarius and Libra. It's not...
So this is where your different parts of your personality come from.
Well, after this,
so maybe Joe and me are both whatever we are.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is, but we have different rising or that, and maybe that's the difference between us.
It's about the time that you were born and everything, like
right.
Everything to
maybe I need to get it and find out about
it's myself. Interesting, and then every day it gives you like a new thing, like a new
horoscope.
Yeah.
Of
and the other week, maybe it was when you were away, when I was just I just felt like everything was getting on top of me. Like it was a crazy week. I just wanted to cry every day.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And I looked, and it was like, because my moon sign, something about that meant that I was emotional.
Well, like I say, I believe to a degree. That's how I like to justify everything with science, because that's for my own sanity though, because otherwise I get really lost away with things.
So I asked Joe if he had any, but he doesn't believe in anything like that. He's very the same sort of thing. Like if it's science proven, he'll believe it. But
maybe that's because of our star sign.
Maybe.
We're quite skeptical people.
Yeah. But he said, this is what he said. He said, I have lucky numbers, and I always do things a certain way.
Yeah.
I see it as superstitious, but my parents say it's autism.
I think we're all on the spectrum. Everyone's on the spectrum. But he is quite anal about his numbers.
Yeah, he's very anal.
His planning.
Yeah, he's a bit OCD, I think.
Yeah.
That's a bit different than spooky season. But...
Yeah, no, but for sure, like, think that's a superstition. And do you have any superstitions?
I always, this is not spooky, but like, swear, I have to open everything upside down.
Yeah, you do that.
I don't know why, I just have to. And if people don't do it, it really makes me jars me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I can't not do it.
Well, that I don't know if it's a superstition, but you just do things a certain way, don't you? And once you start doing it one way, you have to always do it that way. I think when I was younger, I had a lot of superstitions, and it was to do, like, you know, when you're a kid and all your hormones are changing, and a lot of little kids like deal with like weird like anxiety as a child. And I had a lot of weird superstitions. One of them being touching wood constantly, always. I know a lot of people do that, but it was like obsessive. And actually, I have another story about a girl from school to do with that, which I'll talk about. But I used to stress out if I couldn't find wood, because I'd think of something in my head. It wouldn't even be something that was said out loud. It would be in my head, and I'd have to touch wood. I still do it now. I'll think randomly in my head, like, this person's going to crash their car, and I smack my own head, and that makes no sense because my head isn't even wood, but I do this.
You have to do it.
I have to do it, and it's not anywhere near as bad as it used to be when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it would be if I did it once, then that's like on. If I did it twice, that's off, and then I'd have to remember how many times I've done it. Because if you did it once, then you're secure.
I don't know things like this about you.
If you did it twice, then you weren't secure, and then if you did it 3 times, you were secure. I don't know. Anyway, that's
it's
like a superstition.
He loves me not. He loves me not.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Do you ever get it when, like, I feel like I've seen things like this on Twitter, when it's like you're walking, you know, I've got to get to that lamppost before the car comes past. I do it all the time. Even now, I do it.
We are all living the same lives and thinking the same thoughts.
And it's like, I need to get to a certain point before the song finishes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm like, yes,
I did it. But we all do things like that, and that's just silly superstitions. But I don't know whether I have any others. Like, I used to be the 3 drain person.
What's even that about?
It's bad luck to walk over.
Crack your mum's back.
It's something. No, that's the stand on a crack. Break your mother's back.
Oh, okay.
But the 3 drains is bad luck, and then if you walk over 3, then you have to walk over 2 together, and then 1 on its own to get rid of the bad luck.
It's like smashing mirrors and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like things come in 3s.
Yeah.
Things like that. I've known with people like, I don't know who, I can't think off the top of my head, but I remember things happening when they're like, one bad thing happened, then another bad thing happened, then you're like, oh my god, one more thing is going to be.
And then it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like with the 3 drain thing, I had to break that for myself because it was getting ridiculous. So I started just forcing myself to do it. Yeah. But there was a point where I wouldn't even let my dog walk over 3 drains.
I saw a woman yesterday. I was like walking in the town, and to not step on the drain, she literally like jumped pretty much on me, and then she tripped over her husband, and then they both started tripping over. So, oh god! I was like, just because she was like an old woman. She was like not old, but like 60,
an older lady,
50, 60, and she was tripping up everyone just so she didn't walk over. It was busy. And she was, oh god! I was thinking, getting a bit more spooky now.
Ooh.
So those superstitions now. It's a bit spooky. This is a story. One time at home, I felt a breeze on my neck, and I looked out to the patio door, and there was a big handprint on the glass. Although I'm pretty sure it was just one of us during the day, I hadn't noticed it before, but it was pitch black outside.
It's creepy when these things happen because you have to justify in your head, like, it's just a handprint, it was just one of us earlier. But when those things come hand in hand,
you're like, was it? Or like, was it?
Yeah.
Surely I always think I would have noticed that. Like,
yeah, I would have seen that earlier, but maybe you wouldn't if it was daylight. You're noticing it because it's dark and there's like nothing.
You felt a breeze.
I know, it's
the door. I know her house, and I know like you're not going to get a breeze unless
breeze out of nowhere. Yeah, that is a very specific.
It's like that.
Like, and where's the breeze going to come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, creepy. And like, why specifically on your neck? I don't like it. When I used to work as a waitress in somewhere up on the old high street in Kenilworth, that building was really, really old. and it had been a house before it was a restaurant. And
you know that my nan used to live there. She was born there.
What, in Harrington?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Or the one next door. One of the ones.
One of them. That's so creepy.
Because her parents used to own it, and she was born there.
Wow.
She used to live there.
I don't think you told me that before.
Oh, no.
Maybe you have.
Anyway, yeah.
But when there was a girl there that she used to do the cleaning in the mornings, and she told me that quite a few times she would go around the whole place and clean all the windows, clean all the mirrors, and then she'd turn back and there'd be a new handprint on the mirror.
Mm-mm.
And she'd be like, I've just cleaned that mirror.
I feel like as well, it's making me get goosebumps.
Yeah.
If you were a spirit, obviously you can't be seen, but that is a way for you to tell somebody that you're there.
Yeah.
Because it's like a way you can leave
your mark, yeah. And I was always creeped out working there. Like, there was quite a few times that I would do the cleaning where I'd be the last one to leave and I'd lock up. And we'd all do it though because it was a creepy building. And you'd have to start turning the lights off at the top floor and work your way down. And literally, we'd all leg it down the stairs to the front door and run out. And I remember every time I'd leave, because I'd park my car out the front, and I'd never look back at the restaurant I'd never look at the upstairs because I just always thought I don't want to see something that I don't want to see. So I would just drive away and never look behind me. Because they always used to say, like, check the windows are closed, check the lights are off, and I couldn't because I didn't want to look.
It's like an old building.
It's a creepy building. I didn't myself experience anything. Oh, actually, I did, because the men's toilet taps would always be running. They'd always be on, even when there'd been no one in there. And we'd go and we'd tighten them, turn them off, and then they'd be running again. It's just little creepy things. But yeah.
I actually remember a creepy story now that I have.
Go on.
So, at work, people would always say that there was a ghost in the stock room. And I never really believed it because it's so stupid. And there'd be stories like, 'cause before it was a retail park, it was just like storage. And like a girl went missing and then they found a body in the bar storage,
Is that real?
That was the story. Well, it's probably not. But I don't know if it's just how the way the walls were and like the echoes. But when you're up there, and especially I'd spend a lot of time up there on my own in the stock room, and it's really big. Yeah, it's massive. You can hear, every time I'd hear the same thing. It would be a kid like laughing, and then a mum going like, "Shh, stop, shut up." I would hear it all the time. The same thing. And I'll tell people, they're like, "Stop it, it's stupid." I was like, I hear the same thing. And like you'd hear like running and stuff, but you'd think, is it just downstairs? But it sounds like it's in the wall.
Yeah.
That's what I'd hear.
Yeah,
I'd hear the same kid laughing. So
the weird thing about that is that it's the same noise over and over again. If it was different things, you would just justify it as being down in the shop, or in the building next door or whatever. But when you're hearing the same thing over again,
because I always would put the radio on really loud because it'd freak me out.
Yeah, just
because I'd spend a lot of time up there on my own.
Oh, I would
like sorting out the stock and like doing delivery and stuff.
Yeah. Would you be scared to like walk around in there?
I do night shifts in there. It was horrible. It was horrible, but you just have to tell yourself it's not real.
Yeah, you have to, because it's a job. You can't like quit your job because you're scared about some noise.
Because I would tell people, like, there's a ghost up there. Like, there is.
Yeah,
it's a kid.
But sometimes you do hear things like, and it's from the next door. Like, for example, I've never actually been in their house, but next door, I think their staircase is against our wall. So I'll sometimes think that I'm hearing someone come up the stairs, and I just justify that as the fact that their stairs are literally right there. But yeah, it's creepy. You just have to justify it for yourself, otherwise we would be able to get through this life.
Yeah, because there's too many creepy.
Too many.
So this is another story. I have a story off the back of this one as well.
Okay.
Once we had people round to stay, so I was sleeping in the spare room and they were in mine. Everyone was in bed asleep, doors closed, and I was about to switch my light off, and I saw a black figure walk past my bedroom door. I was looking from the spare room. So her bedroom door, but she was in the spare room, so like down the corridor. I went out, but no one was there. All the doors still closed. I didn't feel scared as at all. It was just a bit strange. Well, I think that's all though. Nothing's so scary.
She wasn't scared. She just thought it was strange.
I would be scared.
I would be scared.
I wouldn't be able to sleep.
No, neither would I. I don't think. Have you ever seen like a shadow or something?
I've seen it, not in my house, but when I used to like go to work in the morning. So I used to start work at 5 a.m. It would be dark, and like your eyes play tricks on you. Like,
absolutely.
I would always see the same at the same place, and then after that, I just could never look. It was like a junction, and there was a bush.
While you were driving?
Yeah, there's a bush on one side.
Oh, because I bet there was no one on the road.
No, and there's a bush on one side, and I would see a figure in the bush. So then obviously it's a junction, it's a bit scary, it's a bit bad, I need to look left, but then I would never, so I would be going right anyway. So I just would have to look right and just go, because I can't look in the bush, because I'd see a figure. Or I've seen a figure once.
Well, I wonder whether there was something that was causing a shadow there.
I think it's because there was a street light near it, and in my head it looked like a person.
I've said it so many times this episode already, but we have to give ourselves reasons for why things are like that. Otherwise, you would just lose your mind. Yeah. I think definitely at night your eyes do play tricks on you. We were talking about this earlier about the fact you've got to drive back to Nottingham later, and when it gets darker, it is like mirages and like lights and shadows. Yeah, it's quite scary. I don't like it at all, especially now the clocks have changed. It's getting it'll be dark soon, like in a couple of hours, and your eyes do play tricks on you, and it's scary.
If this was me, I would not sleep for the rest of the night.
No, I wouldn't be able to at all.
I'd get freaked out.
I wouldn't be able to sleep.
I think me and Joe watched a scary film, and then he didn't stay over, like we stayed separately, and I couldn't sleep because it's all I could think about. I can't remember what film it was.
It just plays on your mind.
It's just like, I know it's a film, but it's just I was too scared of the dark. I am afraid of the dark as well. I hate like the unknown. Yeah, I really hate the unknown.
Well, like this weekend, my parents have been away, so I've had Ed stay over every night because my mind just runs away with itself, and I can't sleep because I'm not scared of seeing something. I'm scared of the house being quiet and me not having anyone to blame noises on, because usually there's loads of people here, and if I hear something, I just tell myself it's my mum and dad upstairs, it's my brother, it's the dog. But when the dog's sleeping in the bed with me and then I hear something downstairs or upstairs, it's horrible. And I made him sleep on the side nearer the door as well, because I was just like, it's just silly, isn't it? But it's when anything's like out of the ordinary or different. Yeah. Like, it'll be fine tonight. As soon as my parents are back, it's fine. But it's scary. And like, I wouldn't ever want to stay in the flat on my own or...
No, I'm thinking as well. So I'm saying you're Nottingham, like, basically until Christmas Eve. And I don't think any of the other girls will. That's going to be scary.
You're going to be on your own a bit.
Especially when it's dark and like...
Yeah.
So going off the back of the black figure stories, I'm hoping that she doesn't mind me telling the story. I don't think she'll care, but she hasn't replied to my message, but I'm just going to tell it on her behalf. So she said that once, hopefully I'll get this story right. So she was having a sleepover, and they were asleep or something, and then she opened her eyes, and you know, like on the TV is a red dot to say like it's off. Like something went past the red dot.
Stop! That's horrible.
I can't remember if there's more to the story, but like she saw a black figure, like,
and it turned the light off.
I think she lives in like an oldie house, or like I think her neighbours have had like ghosty stories. I just would not sleep. I don't even know what to do.
No, and it's really frustrating because you want to wake everyone up and be like, be with me, be scared with me, but they won't unless they saw it themselves. But I can imagine that, like, even this TV right now, it's got the red light, and if something went across it, all of a sudden you don't see the light. Yeah. And in the dark, that light is very, like, prominent, isn't it? So that is horrible.
There's probably a reason for explanation, like it just switch off for a second or something.
But
it's like if it goes past, it goes like half.
Ooh.
Unless it was a bug, big bug.
A big bug. It would have, or it would be like she closed her eyes and like
her eyes were adjusting.
Here we are trying to justify it. It's horrible. So, this isn't me, I'm reading it as if it's me, but from someone else. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, my mum's best friend died. It was a shock to the family because she was a big part of our lives. I was sad but didn't really understand being so young. Not long after the death, I used to find it really difficult to sleep, and I would be distressed in the morning. One of the mornings... Oh, I've just lost it. One of the mornings, I told my mum the reason I wasn't sleeping. I said it was because my mum's best friend would come and visit me at the end of my bed. I don't remember any of this, so it's purely based on what my parents have told me, although it's kind of scary and kind of warming that she visited.
I don't know how I feel about that.
A child that young, I feel like they can't make that up.
It's like, have you seen those like videos where it's like,
oh yeah,
when they know things about like their dead relatives that they've never met?
Yeah.
Or like they show them, it's giving me actual goosebumps.
Yeah, I know.
Like they show them photos of their grand and they're like, yeah, that's
and they never met.
That's Bob. And they're like, you don't even know who that is. How do you know that?
Yeah.
Or like, have you seen it when it's like they've been rebirthed and it's like
reincarnation,
an old person from the war and they're like in that person's body?
There's a little boy who saw a picture on the news or something of an old veteran from the war, and he's like, oh my god, that's blah blah blah, and I know him, we used to fly planes together.
Yeah.
And then the parents are like, what the hell? And then the kid can tell loads about these people. And then
it's like, how would they ever know that?
Yeah, they got them together and they were having conversations about the things they used to do. Like, they know things that they just shouldn't know.
Yeah.
It's
like that. I always think when you don't have a memory of it, it's like somebody's trying to wipe it from your memory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I guess this person has said, like, it's kind of warming to know she visited. Personally, I wouldn't find it warming. Personally, like, I'd be creeped out.
Was it maybe it was a dream?
You'd hope it's a dream, but she's saying it happened multiple times. Like, right, another one. In my second year of uni, me and my mates moved into a house together. It was a lovely house, but then we started to notice weird things happening. At night, doors would slam and no one would be in the house, and people would generally feel uncomfortable in the house. My ex-boyfriend never liked to be around because he would constantly feel angry and distressed in the house. One evening, me and another one of my housemates were sat watching TV. I had a glass of water on the coffee table, which was about a metre away from me. All of a sudden, the glass smashed to pieces. No one even touched it and it hadn't fallen over. That night, we slept in the same room. That's horrible.
Oh my god, that's a proper ghosty ghouly story.
Like, it's nowhere near you and it just... That's literally like one of those glasses over there right now just going... Like, why would that happen? Why would a glass just spontaneously smash into pieces?
Oh my goodness, absolutely not. You can't even do anything. You can't even just move out.
No, you can't. You just have to accept it and move on.
I've seen a few TikToks like this. There's one about a uni house. The same sort of thing. They all had to sleep in the same bedroom because it might not have been a uni house, but they were like flatmates, and they all had to sleep in the same bedroom because they were so afraid, like that something was there. Then I've seen ones where people think there's somebody actually living in the house. But obviously, when you see something in front of you just happen.
Oh my god!
I don't even know what an explanation for that would be.
I wouldn't have one. There is no one. So then, in that case, that's just a creepy story, isn't it? I don't even know what to say about that one. It's just creepy and there's no explanation.
You need to get one of those people in that gets sage and like...
Yeah. Thank God she doesn't live there anymore.
Spiritual people.
I don't even know. But this person, I've got a story of my own now to add in because it happened at this girl's house. And the reason this has made me feel even creepy about it, the fact that she has had multiple situations like this happen to her. So I want to say probably I was about 15. Actually, it was the night that you went to the Arctic Monkeys thing and it got cancelled.
Yes.
So it was that night. So how long ago was that?
Oh my god.
So long ago. But
I must have been 16.
So yeah, so I was about 15. So my parents were away. 30.
You scared me then.
There's nobody there. Come here. See, that's another thing. Dogs creep me out because they bark at things all the time, but there's nothing there. But he just thinks he's heard something outside, that's all. But basically, my parents were away and I stayed at my friend's house who had been to that concert. Anyway, she came back a bit later, so I'd already spent quite a few hours on my own in her house that day, just like chilling in her bedroom, and her mum was in, so they were just looking after me for a few hours. And then when she came home, we had a little sleepover and I stayed over in her bed. And in the middle of the night, probably like 3, 4 a.m., I woke up because something grabbed my foot. And to this day, I have no explanation for it. But it was literally like, I don't want to touch your foot, it makes me weird, but it was literally as clear as this. Like, it was literally like that. And I woke her up because it happened and I froze. And I was like, with this thing like on my foot. And then I don't know how long it lasted for. And then it stopped. And I woke her up and I had to tell her.
Ellie, I'm not sleeping tonight. I'm not sleeping tonight.
I was like, I had to tell her, I was like, something just grabbed my foot and it was literally like prominent, clear as day, tight, grasped my foot. And me and her are sat in bed and I'm telling her and I'm so creeped out. And she's a bit creeped out, but she's trying to help me. She's like, maybe you were asleep, maybe it was in your dream, and then it scared you in your dream, so you woke up and you thought it happened, which could have happened. Yeah. That might still be the case. And then she was like, or maybe your foot got trapped in the blankets or something like that. And I was like, I know you're trying to help me right now, but I felt something grab my foot. Like, this wasn't a blanket being wrapped around my foot.
It's like when you don't want to put your foot over the edge.
Yeah,
like out
because it's going to grab you.
It's going to grab.
Yeah, but Ella, this was in the bed under the quilt. It wasn't hanging out. It was in the quilt. Anyway, that's all. But then she told me that night, she was like, this bedroom used to be my sister's bedroom, and my sister used to always hear scratching on the wall when she was trying to sleep. And I was like, that has just made it so much more worse. Now I can't go to sleep because I know that I'm not the only person.
Ellie.
To this day, I think about it every now and again, and I just justify it as must have been in my sleep. But if we went back to that time now, I would tell you clear as day, something grabbed my foot, and I've just justified over the years like, no, it didn't, Ellie. But it did. And I just pushed it to the back of my mind.
I don't think I've ever personally experienced anything like that.
That's the only thing I've ever experienced. But that was physical. Like, that wasn't I saw it. It was horrible. But I still don't believe it. But it happened to me.
I'm actually not going to sleep tonight.
Oh, don't be silly.
And I have to sleep on my own. This story actually relates to this person who's the next one. When we were younger, we'd watch those creepy videos on YouTube.
Oh, so why did we do this as kids? No wonder we're so scared.
Me and this girl used to do it on YouTube at our nan's house. There was one with like a rocking chair and it would just rock, and then it'd be like, Bleh! Or like something would happen. Yeah. And then have you seen the one where it's like driving along hills and then it's like, Bleh!
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't sleep for weeks, and my dad was so livid at me for watching these videos because I just would not sleep.
Yeah,
would not sleep. And then I'd I would get inside the quilt and like hide because I couldn't sleep. Oh my God.
Kids shouldn't have access to the internet because that's the kind of thing that used to terrify me as well.
I don't even I knew it wasn't real, but we used to watch like Paranormal Activity and like not Paranormal Activity. It was a TV show and they used to go to like ghost houses. I don't know what it's called. Hunted, yeah. I used to watch that and why did we just used to do that?
But I know now as an adult that I don't like that kind of thing, so I don't subject myself to it. But as a kid, it's like the thrill, isn't it? Like the adrenaline. I
think it's because everyone else is doing it. I remember once this boy that I was at my school, my mum used to try mine for him. He was like, watch this video, huh? Watched it, boom, and it was like the scary face.
They still scare me now.
I really had to pretend that it didn't bother me because I'd be like, I'm not scared. But I didn't sleep for weeks after that as well.
Yeah, we should try and keep our children sheltered because these things are scary.
Oh my God. Anyway, one last story. The same girl that we used to watch the videos with. She's told me this before and it makes me never want to go to a house ever again. So her mum lives in quite a cottagey, oldie worldy house. It's quite oldie house. Like a woodeny house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Not like this, it's like woodeny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she said my next door neighbour can occasionally see an old woman holding a cup of tea at the top of the stairs. So above the stairs there's a ghoulie.
In the neighbour's house?
Yeah.
So the neighbour in her own house sees... So it's not in your friend's house?
No.
But still.
But I can imagine it, same house.
Holding a cup of tea?
It must be the person that used to live there.
Right, so that's very...
Funny, but I would move.
So would I. I wouldn't be able to stay in them. I'd move. I'd be...
So what, you just sit and you talk to it? What is it?
No, absolutely not. I would move out and I'd go and stay with a friend until my house sold.
Well, they've lived there since I've known her.
No,
so
but if I was the neighbour, like
yeah. So like the neighbour hasn't moved.
Oh God, I wouldn't be able to. So creepy. But then this is the thing as well. Like over time, you justify things and you tell yourself it wasn't real.
But then is it just like, oh, it's just my friend now? Like, is it actually a person?
Personally, I could never become friends with one.
No. Like, I could never. I don't even know. I would never look in that spot ever again.
No, I wouldn't be able to. But you do get used to things and you get over them. Like that story with me, I feel it scared me shitless at the time. But now I'm just like, well, it obviously didn't happen. But it did. But I just tell myself it didn't because I'd like to justify it somehow. But yeah, that's so creepy. But just to like another thing, talking about like kids doing like weird things like that. In your primary school, was there ever things that went around like those, like I don't even know how to say them, like the superstitious, silly stories that kids would say, like
the one with the person behind you in the mirror.
In the mirror, yeah. What was that, Bloody Mary or something?
Yeah, you'd say the same.
You couldn't say it 3 or 4 times in the mirror, or
like
something.
spin around,
and then they'd show it behind you. In my old primary school, our girls' bathroom toilets were really old and creepy, so we would used to dare each other to go in there on our own and do it in front of the mirror. There was loads of silly stories like that around my primary school, but there was one that I don't remember the full story, but it was called Tick Tick Slide, and it's actually so silly. But it was like, I don't even know where it came from, who made it up, but it was basically just a story about this man that lived apparently in Kenilworth near like Guy Road area, and he had no legs, like he was just a torso, and apparently he was just really creepy. There's not even much to the story, but apparently he just used to get around, he'd sit on a skateboard, and the noise he'd make going around would be like this, tick tick slide, like this on a skateboard.
I have actually seen a man, but I think he lives in Coventry.
Oh.
A man on a skateboard, he's got no, he's only a torso.
Well, maybe that's him then, but there's more to the story. Like apparently he would like show up in people's houses and like show up in their upstairs, and everyone's like, how did you get upstairs? You have no legs. Like, but it was the noise.
It's no problem. Oh, don't, that really scared me. Everything's scaring me.
But it's the noise that apparently people would hear him coming because they'd hear the, which is actually quite creepy, isn't it? Like tick tick.
Ellie, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I don't even know what I'm going to do.
I don't know, but
I've got work really early as well.
Oh, don't be silly. This is all nonsense. But yeah, we'll leave the video at that. It was just a funny, silly one, but it wasn't actually scary. It was a bit scary.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's that because we're saying scary. You think it's Siri? It's a ghoulie.
Oh my god, it's creeping me out. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for sending in your scary stories.
Scared.
Don't be too scared.
Sleep tonight. Keep the light on.
Ooh. And have a great Halloween, even though we can't go out.
Yeah.
And enjoy the rest of the spooky season. Bye.